some of these gifted students, they start underachieving when they don't get these opportunities. So you find that in 7th, 8th, 9th, the student is doing so well, topping, so interested, and doing all these things. By the time they come to 11th, they have switched off. Because when your interests don't get satisfied, when you're not challenged at your level, and then there are devices and all these things, so then you just go down the wrong path.
Hello everyone, I have a very special guest joining me today, Vishnu Agnihotri. Vishnu is a co-founder at GenWise. He is dedicated to nurturing the potential of gifted children, helping them to translate their potential into achievement. GenWise runs world-class residential programs for gifted students in India and runs teacher mentoring programs for leading schools in India and the UAE. Vishnu also holds an engineering degree from IIT Madras. Vishnu, it's such a pleasure to have you here on the podcast today.
Thank you, Devesh. It's my pleasure. Next Genius has been doing great work, and we're very happy to be here. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So let's straight away jump into the questions. My first question to you is, what's the gap in traditional schooling that GenWise is trying to bridge?
Yeah, thanks, Devesh. So, see, traditional schooling does a lot of good things. They build your foundations, you get the fundamental subject knowledge, you socialize in that atmosphere, you learn discipline. So I would say school is like a second family and very important. Unfortunately, school faces various constraints because there are so many children, there is a commute, there is safety, you are catering to children of all different abilities. So there are certain constraints traditional schools face. Ideally, what we would like schools, our children to go through is that, can we find what is every child's unique interest? What is their unique gift? What is it that they are good at? Otherwise, everyone is running behind some IIT JEE or medical or law entrance test. But there are so many different options. There are so many facets of the child, and the school faces many constraints. So what we are trying to do as GenWise is to really see that. So we are not against schools at all. We cannot do what schools are doing. So we are trying to supplement and give additional things what schools will struggle to do because of schedules, because of the wide nature of expertise required. Because children may be interested in storytelling, filmmaking. They may be interested in very high-end mathematics. The school teacher is not equipped to do that, or if they're equipped to do that, they have the timetable constraint. So that is what we are trying to do in the GenWise programs, to supplement what schools do. Yeah.
Fantastic. So you said schools, of course, all schools do a fantastic job, but there are certain limitations in terms of what a school can do within their whole structure
Yeah.
because they have a curriculum to follow, they have a whole
Yeah.
timetable, and that's why there is a need for an organization like GenWise. Now, can you walk me through some of your key programs and what makes those programs unique?
Yeah. So there are two, three major things we do. I'll talk more about the residential summer program and briefly talk about the other two things. So what we do primarily is to work with students who are academically gifted. So see, every child has some gift, which means that it comes easier to them. Something comes easier to them than other things. Someone is very good at sports, someone is very good at maths, whatever it is. But when we use the term gifted, what we are saying is that the top 2 to 3% of students. So we run specialized programs for them. So somehow this is not understood. People think this is elite. Why is my child not gifted? Why are you putting them in a separate thing? But we don't say that about, say, a very good sports person or a very good musician. We send them to a special music class. Send them to a special sports thing, right? Virat Kohli or Sachin Tendulkar doesn't play cricket with us, in the gully, because then they cannot, go further. So it's not about elitism. It is about meeting the needs of these children who are often 2 to 3 or even 4 levels above their grade. So they are getting bored in classrooms. So what some other child may take 8 or 9 periods to understand, maybe in the first or second period they've understood everything. So now they're just sitting there getting bored and they're losing motivation, right? Or sometimes what is happening is they are not getting an opportunity to satisfy their interest. So what we do, so the main our flagship program, what we are known for, is a 3 week residential program for gifted students. So most of these gifted students, they take a test called EI Asset Talent Search Test. It's a test which is 2 levels above the child's grade. And actually, in this test, they do better than the children 2 years older than them, right? Because they're really exceptional at those things. Sometimes we take school principals' recommendations because they know the children well. So this year in May, we had about 175 students from across the country. Some of them were sponsored. They were from underprivileged backgrounds, sponsored by people like Manipal University and Godrej Foundation and so on. So what happens in this program is you are doing things beyond the curriculum. You are exploring different interests. For example, we had a course on artificial intelligence. We had a course on storytelling. We had a course on neuroscience. We had a course on mathematical thinking. There are many things like this. So what is happening is these children who are interested in this, who are already some grade levels above, they are doing at undergraduate level a semester's work. So there is 90 to 100 hours of work they're doing in 3 weeks. And because they are gifted, they have a lot of stamina. After 6, 7 hours, also they are, so excited. That is one part of the program. The other part, see, one thing is whatever talent you have, whether, Virat is a great batsman or people talk about, let's take the Sachin and Vinod Kambli example, right? So many people say that Vinod Kambli actually had more talent, but somewhere because of the socio-emotional issues, he was not able to develop that kind of maturity for whatever reason, we don't know. It came in the way of translating the talent into achievement, whereas Sachin, maybe with similar level of talent, achieved much more. So very important aspect of the program is psychosocial skills. How do you, because these gifted children, they have never failed. They have always been top in the class. They're like a big fish in a small pond. So when they come here, we put them into all kinds of situations, not just academic. So they're forced to play football on some day. They, have to do art on some other day. So all of these things put together, it creates a huge transformation in them. So that is what our main program is. We also have a vibrant online community of about 11,000 students, where we are trying to build a community of students because we want to do this through the year. We have courses, we have something coming up in July if people are interested. So what people can do if they're interested is to go to genwise.in, or they can go to giftedworld.org and check out these things. The third thing we do is mentoring teachers, because ideally we want some of these things to happen in schools, right? So we are trying to convince schools that these kids are already so bright. One day in a week, can we free them up from the other classes, right? And then, we will do some online things for them. We will train your teachers. So that is basically what we do. So what we are trying to do is saying that, yes, school is important, these fundamentals are important, and all of that is there. But can we help students identify their interests and strengths relatively early in life? So, like many of us, I know you're much younger than me, but perhaps even in your generation, what happens is you go to some college because all of your friends are going there, your parents told you, and then maybe you like it, maybe you don't like it. And maybe by the time you're 27, 28, between 18 and 27, 28, you discover what you're good at, and then hopefully, you're on track. So there is no shortcut, but we are saying, can we start at 12, 13? So by the time you're 18, 19, you have the right fit, then you will succeed. Then it's easy, it's not strain. Yeah.
Fantastic thought. I mean, the way you close it is, while everyone reaches where they have to get eventually, but for some, the path is a little difficult as compared to others because they did not have that kind of a mentoring, they did not have that kind of a support, and they just had those talents and skills, but converting that potential into achievement. I think that's what you do so fantastically.
I want to, yeah, I want to add quickly that some of these gifted students, they start underachieving when they don't get these opportunities. So you find that in seventh, eighth, ninth, the student is doing so well, topping, so interested, and doing all these things. By the time they come to 11th, they have switched off. Because when your interests don't get satisfied, when you're not challenged at your level, and then there are devices and all these things, so then you just go down the, wrong path. Yeah.
Absolutely. So you're talking with us about the residential camp, and you're telling us a little bit about what all different kinds of things they do in those camps. But can you take us through what a typical day looks like for a student?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And in fact, one of our struggles has been to give a flavor of the camp. And we are finding that either you've been to the camp or not been there. And it's very, very difficult. You can use videos, blog posts, but it's very hard to communicate that. We had 11 school principals come and visit. But let me still try to give you a flavor of a day in the life and maybe, a week in the life also. So students land up on a Sunday. So the older students come there for 3 weeks. The younger students who are in grade 6 and 7 come for 2 weeks. So what happens is that they get up in the morning around 6:30. So there are two or three people sharing the room, depending on how big that room is. There is a attached toilet, bathroom in that room, and they are staying in these hostel, which are typically for undergraduate students. And for every 10 or 12 students, there is a what we call a residential counselor. So typically, it is a college student or someone just passed out of college. So the children are, anywhere from 11, 12 to 15, 16. And these residential counselors are, 20 to 24 years old. So for every 10 or 12 students, they are staying in the same corridor, right? And then there are teaching assistants who assist the instructors and all of that. And then there are the instructors. So what happens in the morning is that this residential counselor will go and wake up the students, right? Um, and then they wake up, then they freshen up, and then they are taken to breakfast, right? Before COVID, we actually used to do a little bit of a walk outside and some physical activity, and we hope to start that again. But after COVID, we are finding that children are a little, finding it more difficult in the physical stamina. It's starting to get better now. I think we will go back to normal. So then these children go for breakfast. They have a good breakfast, So by 8:20, 8:30, they're done with breakfast. Then we take them to their classes. So everyone is in a different class. So that time, see, we are extremely particular about safety because 175 children, they could do anything. And you're in a university, there are college students and all of that. So safety is our top priority. So what we do is the residential counselor hands over to the teaching assistant after breakfast. That here are your children, and they do a count, and if somebody is sick, they know that they are in the sick room or they are somewhere being taken care of with some adult. So then they go to the class. So in the class goes on from 9 to 4 with a lunch break of an hour and with two breaks in the first half and the second half, where for 20 minutes we force them to go out and play, throw a ball, do something. Many of them, no, 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 I'll do my video game. So their devices are taken away. So they don't have the device. They are given the device only for half an hour at night. I'll come to that. Uh, if the course requires a device, for that period of time, they can open up their laptop and do something. Otherwise, they have to shut it and put it in the bag. So 9 to 4, they are in that course, and in that course, children don't experience it like a course. We call it a course, academic enrichment, but for them, they say, oh, we are playing around, we are sharing our thoughts, we are doing this, we are building, whether it is a robot or a chair or, this time they built a submarine in one of the courses. So what is very interesting is sometimes children don't want to leave that activity and even go for, lunch or snack, and we have to sort of force them to do those things because they have chosen the course what they want to do. And it's not, we don't have any assessments, right? We give them feedback, but we don't have any assessments, and they're allowed to ask whatever they want, and we try our best to respond. So 9 to 4, that is happening. Then 4 o'clock. So we should not imagine that the 9 to 4 is the most important part, right? Because a lot of children talk more about the other part. Yes, the course does affect them, but they are children at the end of the day. They want to. So, also, what has happened is many children have today have not shared a room. They have, been a little, I would say, pampered by their parents. So, they eat a certain kind of a thing. In fact, I mean, I'm forced to say this that there are many parents who have somehow not managed to do a good job of parenting. I mean, I know that many parents will be watching this, but this is the unfortunate truth. So the truth is that they've been trying to please the children, try to be liked by them. They've not provided enough structure. They have not managed to control how much time the child spends on devices. So actually, being away from their parents is also very good for some of these children because now there is no one to protect you, right? Some your roommate did not fold the thing properly or did not flush the toilet properly. Now you have to talk to your roommate about it, right? So one of the mothers I met just now, she was very proud that her child was counting the clothes, number of clothes to be given to laundry. Otherwise completely dependent on the mother, right? So what happens is the part from 4 p.m. to 9 a.m. is equally important. So the children then have snacks, they go play different games, there are activities, all kinds of things, treasure hunt, DJ night where they go and dance, lip sync, karaoke, there's a talent night where everyone performs. And on weekends they get more chill out time. They do things, they go out, for a small trek maybe, or they go to the beach along with us. So that is what it is. So I'll conclude by saying that if you can imagine a buffet with only wholesome experiences, and it is very difficult for a parent to know or any adult to know that what is it that a child requires at any point of time in their growth. But if you provide a buffet of wholesome experiences, the child will pick up what is their greatest need at that point of time. So for someone, it is more of the coursework and some things. For someone, it is bonding with students they never knew. For someone, it is dancing on the stage. So that is what it is.
Wow, fantastic. And I mean, such thoughtfully curated program. Really enjoyed hearing all of that and probably imagining myself doing some of those things.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Many people do this for us. Yeah. Yeah.
do you want to talk a little bit about some of the students and how it sort of had an impact on them?
I think that's a good way to talk about it. So the very first camp we ran. So what happened? The very quick history is Duke used to run these programs in India. It was called Duke TIP, Duke Talent Identification Program. Unfortunately, they stopped in 2015. So that is why we sort of came in because that thing was not available anymore. So 2016, when we ran the first camp, and so that was the first time I was running a camp. So I started talking to students that what is your experience? So I remember this student from Mumbai. He was from a school in South Mumbai, and when I asked him what is the experience of this camp for you, he said that when I'm in school, so he was in a physics course. So he said, when I'm in a school and I'm studying something and I ask the teacher, this question because I'm very interested and I want to know, how this thing works in physics. The teacher says, oh, that we will learn after 2 years, in grade 9 or 10. And the way he described it, he said, it's like I'm reading a very interesting mystery novel and the mystery is unfolding. And now you're telling me that the remaining pages of the book are glued together and I can't open and read them. So that was one way. The other example I will give is another kid from Mumbai. And she did very well in our program. She was on a course on sustainability. And last day we have an open house where the children are talking, explaining to the visitors what they did. And this mother came to visit. And the mother was in tears, seeing her child talking, explaining. So we asked the mother, what's going on? Why are you in tears? And she said, my child never talks. My child never talks. So then but we never experienced the child like that. The child was talking, participating all the time. So then we asked the child that, what is this, how come this disconnect? And she said, no, in school, I'm not encouraged to speak and voice my opinion, right? For whatever reason, maybe teachers have constraints. So these are some of the ways. And yeah, the last thing I want to share is children may dance on the stage or play football. Here, they've never done that in school. So when we ask them, how come you're doing it here? That anonymity out there, right? That helps them. In school, there's an image that you're a topper, you're this. They don't want to lose that by dancing awkwardly or something, but here it's okay. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic. Thanks for sharing that. We're almost coming towards the end of the session, and I wanted to ask what can students, curious and motivated students, do on their own to sharpen their thinking and learning skills?
Yes, I think that's a very, very important and pertinent question. And because there is so much happening in the world right now, and there is so many things to learn, whether it is Gen AI, whether it is storytelling, there are so many things happening that whether it is school, whether it is GenWise, nobody can teach you and expose you to all the things you need. So you will have to develop the habit of self-learning and you will need to know how to learn well. So I have two, three tips for students. One is don't get carried away by fads. So a lot of students, because of the larger culture, whether from VCs hyping up a company which doesn't really have the fundamentals or trying to scale too fast, or so there is a culture of, I think, show, and I'm all for presentation and presenting your portfolio and doing it well. It has to be done, and there's nothing wrong with that. But fundamentals are very important. So you will have to learn to do boring things, and many boring things become interesting and of value after you do those things. There are a lot of good materials available out there. So whether it is Coursera, edX, there are free things. There are a lot of good materials. One suggestion I have is to become a member of giftedworld.org. So we run a lot of things. Most things are free out there. We post a challenge. There are, we point to resources like this. Gen AI is a great tool, but it can also lead you astray, right? It can tell you wrong things. And if you don't think about it first and you straight away put it out there, you will never develop those capabilities. Find a mentor. I think a lot of adults are very happy to mentor young kids. So Devesh, whatever your strength is, I'm sure you would love it. If a couple of kids came to you and said, Devesh sir, can you give me 1 hour or 2 hours a week? It's not about money, right? You will happily do it because we all want to encourage these students. So find a mentor, ask questions. The biggest and most important thing is to ask questions. Ask questions not to show off, not to put someone else down that your teacher doesn't know this or whatever. Ask questions because you sincerely want to learn and then try to find the answer properly. Uh, and that's extremely important because the biggest thing which is happening, so though a lot of Indians are doing well in studies and they're going here and there, they are not necessarily innovating and inventing because they have learned too much to crack the exam or crack the admission process, right? And they are not the people who are going to innovate. So research shows that after age 9, 10, the number of questions students ask goes down a lot. So in our summer camp, one of the biggest things students have said is they've started asking many, many more questions. So please ask questions. If you're not finding an encouraging environment to ask questions, find somebody, find a space, come to GenWise, Gifted World, there are other places. So you have to find your place and you have to take responsibility for your learning. And most teachers are very good and they want to help you. And give them a chance. Don't say, that, oh, my teacher doesn't do this, doesn't do that. Have you ever gone and spoken to the teacher outside of class and say, ma'am, I need more help, I need to understand this? 95% of them will help you. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. So, any final advice on how students and families can engage with you?
Yes. So I would say that the best way to engage with us is to become a member of giftedworld.org. Membership is free. We have a lot of events, 2, 3 master classes every month. We put out things out there. We also have counseling sessions for both parents and students. Yeah, that's basically it. Go to genwise.in, follow us on our social media handles. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Vishnu. It was such a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you for sharing your insights and talking with us about the fantastic and very, very exciting programs that you run.
Thank you, Devesh. Thank you.